Thank you.
I will start recording in just a moment. I'm going to introduce you as Dr. Jonica Charlton. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, alrighty. Just making sure. No. And just make sure. Okay. Alrighty, so we are live on Facebook right now. Hopefully, I think we are. But this is one of our many podcasts that we do on the FYE team that are live on Facebook, and we only do them for very, very special occasions, very special guests that we're very proud to have. And today we have no other than Dr. Jonica Charlton, the Associate Vice President of Student Academic Success and the Dean of the University College, here to talk to us all about the ReStart program that's going to be so incredibly important to all of the students that were affected by the harsh conditions of COVID-19 we had last year. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Gerson Salinas, Natasha Gonzalez, our advisors here at UTRGV, Cynthia Salivar and Jose Salivar. So, Jonica, I'll go ahead and ask the first question and go ahead and answer it as how you would like. But basically, what is the ReStart program?
Hi. Well, thank you all for asking me to come today. Like you said, the fall semester was not what anybody would have wanted, right? Certainly not the first year experience that our new students coming out of high school and into college for the first time would have wanted, not being able to be sort of on campus around all the other students, getting a really good sense of all the new relationships that you might develop with friends, with faculty, and just having that college experience, right? So what we've done is we know that a lot of our first year students were really struggling in fall. A lot of it was pandemic related. A lot of it was, the need to be able to kind of stop out and help to take care of your families financially. And some of it was just, this really isn't basically what I thought I wanted to sign up for. And so I just want to take some time off and hopefully, we'll get vaccines and everything will get a little bit back to normal and I'll come back. And so we also know that a lot of students didn't do as well in their classes as they had hoped that they might do, right? And so one of the things that we wanted to do was to acknowledge what's going on with our first year students and really send a very clear message that nobody should feel bad about what happened in the fall. Every one of us here has probably struggled at some point, either with the class or what's going on in our lives. And we just want to make a really smooth transition back for our students. We want everybody to know that no matter what happened to you in the fall and what you might be doing right now, that you really do belong at UTRGV. We care about you. We know that you have everything it takes to come back and be very successful. And so we've planned a program for everybody to come back. It's kind of a two-part thing where in the May mini-mester, we're inviting students back to a special course that Cynthia is one of the faculty, Jose is one of the faculty, my husband teaches one of those courses. And so it's called Living and Working by Design. And it's this really cool sort of very low stress course where students get to talk to one another, get to talk and engage with faculty who are some of the best that we have at the institution, and really interested in kind of meeting students where they are and seeing what are the things that you care about, what are the things that get you excited, what are all these different pathways that you could take with your life. So career is an important part of that, but it also your career and the things you want to do with your life have to kind of fit in with the other values and the other things that you want to do with yourself. So we're hoping that students can come back. They'll take that course. We're offering it free of charge to students. And so it'll be a class, again, where it's very low stress, really designed to kind of help you do some reflection and thinking about what you want to do and some planning. And then in the rest of the summer term, we're going to ask students to take 6 hours, so just 2 classes. And they'll be eligible for our summer liftoff if they're able to sign up for the program by May 3rd. So they'll get some financial benefit for doing that. But we've set aside very special sections that are taught by, again, some of our very best faculty. So we've targeted some of those courses that students maybe didn't do well in the fall. So like our English 1301 or a history course or a UNIV 1301 course. And so we've set aside sections of those with the best faculty. And we're going to ensure that as students sort of transition back into the institution, that they have a really good experience and can build that confidence back up. And also, if they didn't do well in the fall, be able to get, a chance to get good grades in those courses this time and be able to start fresh in the fall. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. We're also trying to help students figure out, do you need student employment? Maybe you in the interim when you took off after the fall, you got a job outside of the institution. And we know that it's hard to give that up. So one of the things that we want to be able to do is help connect those students to some on-campus employment opportunities so that you don't lose that money that you're making right now, but you're connected on campus. And one of the best things about student employment on campus, as you all know, I think, is that you make really strong connections with faculty and staff at the institution. And we know from many years worth of data that students who work on campus, they're making that money for themselves and their families, but they're also coming back at a higher rate than other students. They're graduating at a higher rate than other students. So all those things put together, we hope will help students feel like, hey, yeah, maybe it wasn't the best experience that I had in the fall, but I can come back and get things turned around and have a great experience moving forward and not feel like you've lost too much in the interim. Hopefully that wasn't too much information.
No, I think you did a great job explaining the program. So you had mentioned that this experience would be for it was made with first year students in mind. Are those the students who will benefit the most from this ReStart program?
Yeah, so this program is very intentionally focused on the students who entered last fall or last summer. So brand new students this year, it would have been their first year. Because we know that, those students didn't have the kind of first year experience that we're used to being able to deliver for students. So, you all and your team and our peer mentors, and we've got all these people on campus who are trying to do the best that we can in a virtual environment. But we want to be able to reconnect those students with all the resources that we have with you all, with peer mentors, and with really great faculty so that they're able to come into their second year at the institution and not feel like they're like the new students who are coming in, right? Because, you do have some experience at the institution, but we want you to be able to feel like you get some of that and we can help to provide that over the summer.
I think that's amazing. So you had mentioned also a little bit about a design thinking class or course. So what does this course involve, or what can students gain from this specific course?
I'm just going to say first that this is a class that's been one of those things that's been kind of like this dream that I've had in the back of my mind for a lot of years. I was introduced to the idea of design thinking probably 3 or 4 years ago. And a course like this started at Stanford University. And so now they have multiple versions of that course, but lots and lots of students at that institution take it. And it's just really cool because I think we spend so much time sort of in these classes where there's very rigid sort of ways of thinking and ways of approaching assignments, and oftentimes you're kind of alone in doing your work. And so, or we have resources to that are kind of static resources about career and what could you do. I don't know about all of you, but I was a first generation student myself, and so as I grew up, my dad barely finished ninth grade. My mom finished high school, and I grew up in a very small town. And so I did not know what opportunities there were for what you could do with your life, right? I knew you could be a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. And that was basically it. and so one of the really cool things is that this course is based on the idea that you have to be in conversation with other people and sharing some of these things that you're thinking, the things that you care about, the things that really get you energized in your life, that you may not realize that if you put those things together in particular ways, you can actually make a living doing that work, right? And so one of the things that's really important, and I'll let Cynthia and Jose step in here because they've taught the course, but it's the ability for other people to help you make connections that maybe you're not seeing yourself. And to say, hey, I know somebody, or I know this thing. Have you thought about this? And once you get not only the faculty who are teaching the course, but all the students, because all of us, including students, are an equally valuable resource in this, right? You all, and the students who take the class may have connections to family or friends who do certain kinds of things, or things that you've seen on, a YouTube video or whatever it might be. But to be able to just suggest things to other people. And one of the cool things before I stop is that we've even had the faculty who teach this course talk about how valuable it is to them personally. So I know that the director of the School of Math has mentioned this to me multiple times. It's sort of like he wished he'd had a course like that, because it helps him think about, even to this day, what he might want to do, what the next stage of his career might look like. So I think that's pretty cool. So Jose or Cynthia, I know that you probably have even better things to share, having taught the course.
No, I think you said it all. No, so I just to add what Dr. Charlton said. So I think for the most part, and you all can disagree with me, the students on the panel here. I think students come in and there's a lot of pressure to figure out what you're supposed to do with the rest of your life. And I hear it from my students, and but I think that's not accurate. And one of the concepts that we explore in the living and working by design is these dysfunctional beliefs. And this idea that somehow you're going to work in a job that you're going to identify, that you're going to find right after college for the rest of your life. And the fact of the matter is, your generation and every succeeding generation will change careers more often than the previous generation. And so it is about thinking more practically about, again, what Jonica alluded to, the things that you get excited about, the things that you're curious about, the things that you value and care about. And figuring out, how do I align these things? And so in the course, one of the things that I love doing with my students is we develop these 3 pathways. And so the first pathway is kind of like the very practical, the very real, but also the pathway that has been influenced by whether it was your school, your parents, family, right, society, right, what that maybe a limited scope of careers, but then pushing yourself to kind of think about, okay, if it was really about me and the things that I wanted, and I could deviate a little bit, what does the next pathway look like? And then the third pathway is kind of like pie in the sky, really, if I had access to these resources and these things. And so it kind of, I think it unencumbers, right? It allows students to really think freely about the many things that they could do, and how do I connect all of these things with things that I care about and the things that I'm passionate about. So it's a really fun class, I think, for us, even for the faculty. Like Jonica said, it's been an experience for us, and certainly in education, and even it's forcing us to think about our work and why do we care about the work, but then also, what could be next? Because even we're still toying with that question of, what do I want to be when I grow up? You're always playing with that question. And I think, and it's okay. And helping students realize it's okay to think that way. Yeah.
Well, I think you just made a lot of students very excited about that class. You made me excited, and it's like I'm not even gonna take it. But yeah. Cynthia, did you want to add anything about the?
Well, I was just going to say it's really interesting because I think when I look, I was a first gen student, right? And so when you think of when I thought about my college career, you know, I was always told I would be a good attorney, right? Because in my family, I was the one that was like, I like articulate and I always challenged and I always had an argument, right? So when I think back and what I shared with my students, like if I were doing my first pathway, it would be to become an attorney, right? Now that I'm like many years later, I think I would have been so unhappy as an attorney because that is not where like my interests lie. I do not, a lot of attorneys start off like doing research and working long hours, and I'm so close to my family, it would have been horrible for me, right? And so I tell the students, like, I think so many of our students come in with, oh, you need to be an engineer, or, oh, you should be a teacher, or, oh, my mom is a teacher, so this is what I'm going to be. And so it's really challenging them to think like, yes, you could be strong at arguing, like my family would say, or you could be really articulate. And so they want you to be a lawyer, or you're really great at math, but there's so much more you can do when you're really great at math. Right. And there's so many careers that haven't even been created that by the time you go to the marketplace will now exist. Right. And so trying to just get students to look at the, like, I know with my students, they struggled with the first, like they knew the first pathway, it came easy. But then when you push them to think about like, okay, what's the second pathway? Right. And then when you tell them what's the third pathway, like if you had unlimited resources and you could be whatever you want, like what would it be, right? I'm giving them examples, like for me, like one day I want to own a bar on a beach, right? And if you look at me and if you know me, that just seems so out of there because like I'm a mom to an 8-year-old and you would never picture that, right? But like let's have these conversations, let's have the ideas, and then let's start thinking like you say it's impossible, why? And let's kind of start deconstructing and seeing how maybe it can be possible. And I'm not saying it's going to be possible in 5 years or in 10 years, but let's not lose sight of that one day and how we keep these pathways growing and evolving so that one day does become more of a reality. And so it's a really fun class and the discussions are like amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it too.
I think it's, oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say students that are maybe watching right now and they're highly interested in getting the course, just some supplemental information. Is this course going to be asynchronous, synchronous, hybrid? What should they expect in terms of that process?
Cynthia, I think you're the best, or Jose, one of you.
So the plan is for the course to be hybrid. So the students, obviously for our ReStart students, these are students that maybe stepped away again because not comfortable with the online. So there will still be some online component, but there will be a face-to-face to the course as well.
And I would add that if there are, one of the most interesting things to me about looking at modality and all of that and listening to students and the survey that we did last fall is that there are students of every kind, right? So there are students who are like, this online thing, I hate it. I don't want to come back until we're face to face. And then there are students who are like, I don't want to come back unless it's online, right? And I can continue online forever. So one of the things I think that we can offer is that what we want to do is hear from you if you're interested in ReStart. And if hybrid sounds wonderful, that's great. But if you're still concerned and you're worried about it, the modality, just let Cynthia know or let one of us know, and we'll figure out a path so that you can come back. And we'll make it work for you. So if we need to find an online section for you, we'll do that. Or if we need to accommodate in some way in a hybrid section, but make sure that you're still able to Zoom from home or something like that. Don't let that stand in your way, because I think what we're really trying to do is think about each student individually, one-on-one, and really be able to match what will be the best experience for them as they come back through. We have some sense of what we think we're going to do, but we can be flexible as well.
I think the ReStart program is honestly a fantastic opportunity in terms of it is not only just the free course that students should expect when they register, but it's also just like reconnecting them to what it means to be like a student at UTRGV, to be a vaquero. I think it's the perfect way for students to get involved, especially before fall rolls around, since it's like so intimidating and courses are going to start becoming more on campus. And it's like the perfect way to get them set up with a job, get them networking with other students that are in their same exact positions. I know personally from working art orientations that there are students that took breaks. They didn't want to deal with courses during COVID, and now they're wondering how they can get back. Like, can they get back? And the answer is obviously yes, but it's where to start. And I think this is a fantastic opportunity. On top of the liftoff program, program that UTRGV is offering, this is just one of the many examples that UTRGV is thinking about every student, even the students that took breaks, even the students that may have not have done good their first year of online only classes or were cut short from their on-campus classes last spring when COVID began. So I have tremendous respect for all of Student Success for coming up with these fantastic programs for students to take advantage of. And if anyone has any other comments or anything to say to any students that are watching right now that might have those same questions, you're free to talk or free to express any comments you have regarding this program.
So just really quick, I saw on the chat that we have a student asking how long the class is. So I'm going to make the assumption that they're talking about the Living and Work by Design class. And that class is going to be taking place during summer 1, but it is going to be during the May mini-mester. So it will start on May the 3rd, and then it runs through May the 28th. So it is a 3-week course. When we do register you for the course, know that because it is a 3-week course, you will either be registered from 9 to noon or from 1 to 4. But again, know that we are flexible with you guys. So it is going to be hybrid. So don't think that you're going to be sitting in the classroom for 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday. We're going to have the integration of both of the modalities. And so that's when it takes place. And it will be over in time for summer 1 if you're interested in taking the summer 1 classes.
I was going to ask, is this program like automatically applied to students, or do they have to register or contact someone from the Office of Student Success to get this set up for them?
And actually, Jerry, that's a great time into your question, because we have another question about on the chat, Facebook live chat, asking on who do they contact for registering. Right now, we are doing a call campaign. So you may have heard from one of the gurus that is hosting this podcast. They may have already started calling you. But if you do want to register for classes, please know that you can contact Student Success at utrgv.edu. You can contact me directly. My name is Cynthia Saldivar. You can look me up in the directory and we can get you started on registration. But again, the email is studentsuccess@utrgv.edu.
And we are making those calls on behalf of the success team. We are definitely making those calls. We're finding out what students are our potential applicants, and they need this program, and we'll be reaching out to you all. But of course, we also have our virtual office hours. We have all of our social media outlets and our email. So if you all need anything in regards to questions, it's all attached to our streams and it's all attached to our social media. So is there anything else? Any other comments? All right, well, I will once again thank our amazing guests today. Thank you so much, Dr. Jonica Carlton, for joining us today, explaining a little bit about what programs students can expect to have in the summer. Once again, summer liftoff, ReStart, on-campus employment that we're pushing for all students to get. Honestly, it's a change of lifestyle, and it gives you so much more respect for your peers and your university. So I highly recommend getting involved with all of those different programs at UTRGV. But once again, thank you so much, Dr. Carlton, for joining us. We appreciate you. And for all students watching, thank you so much for watching. This has been another live episode of the FYE podcast, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Can one of y'all go in there and answer it, or do you want me to answer
Oh,
later?
we're still actually live.
Oh, we are.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I unmuted you right after you said that. So go ahead and answer the question.
Okay, so for work study information, you do have to go, that is awarded through financial aid. So you would have to go and assist to see if you have been awarded work study for the summer. But if you want more information, or if you need me to connect you with somebody from financial aid, please email the studentsuccess@utrgv.edu email. And I will be more than happy to get you additional information on that and to connect you with the right person.
Fantastic. Okay. Alrighty, so now I'll officially end it. But once again, if people are still watching the stream, and I think there are, if you have any more questions, you can redirect them to our office hours, our large, extensive team of gurus that are there for you, and we'll make sure you have all those answers, all those questions answered as fast as possible. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all later. Take care.